So if you can confirm that you hear me, yes?
Magdi, would you mute
Okay,
Esther?
great. Thank you, Taba.
Thanks.
Okay. As you know, if you have any questions, you're welcome to pose them. Let's just say a few words that we are the wholeness of being. What we truly are is indivisible, undivided, beyond thought, beyond conception. What we refer to as reality, as truth, is not conceivable, but it is realizable, meaning you can come to a living understanding of what you truly are, of the wholeness of being, via your love for truth and via the light of grace, the wisdom, God's wisdom. Our true nature is undivided. We are this oneness, we are this wholeness, which we experience as peace, as clarity, as transparency, as wisdom, God's wisdom, universal wisdom, cosmic wisdom, that expresses itself through us in infinite ways. Somehow, this living experience, this what we refer to as the human experience, the waking dream, the human dream, has a purpose in it, a hidden purpose, which is to wake up from the dream of separation, to the wholeness, the innate freedom, transparency, limitlessness of being, of the I am. There has been no higher purpose that has been discovered yet. All other goals, all other purposes, all other functions are downstream from that highest purpose, meaning, the meaning of existence, the meaning of this manifestation. So the meaning and the purpose of this manifestation is beyond it, but through it you can come to the beyond. Meaning, it is in this human realm that you can contemplate your divinity, meaning you can contemplate the reality of consciousness, to be discovered as the I am, the universal I am, aware presence, effortless, empty, aware presence. As this contemplation is underway, your waking dream and your night dreams are transformed alongside with the contemplation, in tandem with the contemplation. Your night dreams and your waking dreams are transformed and are taken over. They returned to their rightful owner, which is universal beingness. And the personal concerns, all the personal intentions and the personal desires and the personal angst are surrendered and dissolve along this journey, along this contemplation. So one way you can get a sense that you are on the correct path is if your life becomes smoother, easier, flowing, as if in the hands of God, which is in fact the correct hands in which your life is. And if you notice that in your life it's going into more and more turbulence, it is just an invitation for you to look, stop, pause, and contemplate what is going on. What is the source of the disarray? What is the source of the unhappiness? In order to come to the light of being. Hello, Rhonda. So you're right, Rhonda. Hello, Magdi. Do you have any suggestions on how to talk to my mother, who is very identified with the body and mind? She's getting old. Her body is not strong. Her sight and hearing are failing. I would like to talk to her to make her suffering less, but I don't know how to do it. It reminds me of my mother when she was getting quite old herself. We became very playful together. We became like two children playing together, laughing and joking. The last thing I wanted to do was to talk to her about non-duality or about our true nature, because she was at such a stage in her life where it would have been frustrating or not helpful, maybe even It might have been like sort of teasing, a tease, an unhappy tease. Of course, if your mother has an openness, she's interested. You can sense this interest in her to get some questions answered. Sometimes there are burning questions that arise. You could see it in your relationship with her. That's a different thing. Then you find yourself sort of responding and sharing with her from her own questioning, her own desire to know. You will find that it's easy for you to be sharing with her. But in the absence of her expressing that she wants your help in answering some existential questions or looking into some existential questions at this point in her life, I would just be loving with her, be sweet with her, joke with her, play with her, hold her, love her, kiss her, rather than to try to teach her. She's not very kind at this point in her life. Oh, so yeah, you're right, Rhonda. No, she's not interested. Well, okay, so that's good. If she's not interested, it's very good. You can just visit her and tell her how much you love her, and be sincere with her and joke with her about her. I used to joke a lot with my mother about her narrow-mindedness about some things, certain things. I wouldn't be criticizing her. I was just joking with her. That there are ways, I don't remember exactly how, but there was a lot of humor and laughing, playing. So that's my response to you, Rhonda. Don't perceive yourself as your mother's savior, because everybody is your children, everybody is your mother, everybody is your brother and sister. We all are this one consciousness. We have our path, and your mom's path, my mom's path, my children's path, my friend's path is particular for every one of us, and we have to respect and honor people's path, whichever way it is, even if it goes through some suffering, which has its place and significance in our life, without too much judgment, whether it's good or bad. Rhonda, you're right. What if what you are saying doesn't come natural to Rhonda? Okay, yes, be the natural Rhonda. Don't. Maybe it's comes more natural for me to joke and laugh with my mom, which actually is not the case at all for most of my life. It's only later on in her older age that things became lighter. Pardon. So if it doesn't come natural for you to laugh and joke and be lighthearted with your mom, just be present. Just be the presence that we call Rhonda. It's this presence, and you can just sit with her or by her. And if you have anything to say, don't say anything. You can listen to her. You can be just a peaceful place that at some level she can sense. Maybe she won't recognize it at the mind level, but at some level she will sense your presence and your inner peace, and maybe not. You can just sit, be with her. No, yeah, you're right. I wasn't implying, yes, if it comes to you naturally, that's okay. If it doesn't, it's okay too. You can just be present. Well, All body minds are temporary, but the truth is eternal. Consciousness, the light of being that shines through your mom, is eternal. It's not, doesn't die. Okay, Randa. Hello, Ananda. So yes, there is snow. You said I see snow. It's been very, very low temperatures lately. The past, I don't know, maybe a few days. It's been frigid temperatures, and this morning there was a little dusting of snow, maybe about a half inch or 1 inch. So we were out shoveling it and sweeping it and cleaning the driveway and all of that. So that's done. Yes. So Ananda, you're right. Yeah, I see snow. Snow. How charming! I know in California it's a commodity, something we miss here on the West Coast. Okay, I tell you, right now a lot of people on the East Coast are wishing for the West Coast weather. You know.
Yeah, come on over.
Right. Maybe a lot are planning to come over, but some of the airports are closed. You know. So you're right, from one perspective, we are here in order to wake up from separation. But this realm seems to be a kind of contemplation in itself, a peculiar contemplation of separation, limitation, and sense of lack. Yes, you could say that it is a contemplation. And the sense of separation sort of rubs our nose, you know, the voodoo. You know, want to get out of that, and so
Right.
the unhappiness is a pointer towards the disharmony, the internal non-alignment, the misalignment in our understanding and our feeling state. So this is an opportunity to, I mean, the sense of angst and separation and isolation and aloneness and the negative emotions are in a way one of the ways in which we come to ask ourselves what is going on, and also what is this experience? What is it? What is it? Just what is it? And in what is it, you very quickly come to, you know, what am I? What's this experience? And it's obviously my experience. So what am I? I mean, what's this? What is this manifestation? What is awareness? And obviously, it's amazing. It's a wonder. And there are no answers from the mind, because the mind can't perceive. It's not the perceiving mechanism. It's consciousness that sort of wakes up to itself. It realizes.
It's what?
It's consciousness that wakes up to itself, realizes its majesty, its reality, its universality, its transparency, its wisdom, its light, its freedom, its peace, its consciousness that sort of dawns onto itself.
Sometimes I feel almost like I have a somewhat open view of, you know, the two contemplations, the contemplation of the self, and I'm aware of still contemplating the other, in terms of being some kind of fixation or obsessiveness about this is my, you know what I mean, the residual thing, even after some clarity of this is my life, and wouldn't it be nice if such and such happened, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could just drag like using a computer analogy, just drag a cursor move the volume over to the to the big contemplation and not the limited one, something like that. But I'm thinking this is where you come in for me, is to show that it's not a relative shift. It's like a total shift or something like that. But I have yet to have it feel like a total shift. I've always felt this my whole life. I felt this, like there's two things. I mean, my whole life since 21 years old, and I had some samadhi experiences. Ever since, it's been. I get it. I get the reality, and the contemplation of reality is beautiful. And then it seems like there's a double agent. Like there's also a life going on that hasn't quite let go its grip somehow.
For now, the life doesn't need to let go. It's continuing, it's ongoing, meaning there are relationships, there is work, there are partners, there is body, manifestation of the body, the feelings, the hunger, the wish to travel, and there is all of that, but that is not the problem when it is peaceful and happy, right?
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's just the content of experience or something.
Well, if it's peaceful and happy, whether it's the content of experience or the content of some astral realm, what do I care whose content it is? If it's peaceful and happy, I have no problem with that.
Right.
I have no problem with relationships, with relationship at work, family, friends, with the body. If there isn't any internal or external conflicts. Now, if my relationship with the body that's aging, maybe that is getting maybe ill or sick, and I don't want it to age. Let's say I don't want it to age. I don't want it to get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I have some internal issues,
Yeah.
Then the experience is not happy, and then your question is valid. It's like, hey, what is this waking dream if it's unhappy? So
right.
It's not the waking dream, but the issue is the unhappiness.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love it when we are happy, when we have a nice meal, when we are sitting with friends and enjoying our friends, when we go to a nice recital, or when we go to a beautiful walk in the park, or we're very happy. We're good. There is no issue. It is when things are not going correctly, we're not feeling happy, that we have issues with the waking brain. So the question is the unhappiness. So the contemplation of the self, the contemplation of what am I truly, goes to the core of this unhappiness. Goes to the core because it's going straight to the sense of separation. It's looking at what am I, and it is coming, of course, to the obvious reality of consciousness. And when you come to the reality of consciousness, when you come to that understanding, a living understanding that I am this conscious presence, you contemplate that and dwell onto that and soak into that and remain as that, contemplating it. That the fact of my experience right now is awareness, is pure, open, intelligent, effortless, God-given, let's say, you can say awareness. And when you stay with that, then you realize that this awareness, this consciousness, is impersonal, it's not like I am deciding to run it. It's not like I'm deciding to to create it. It's there, and it's what I am. It's the I is this awareness, this awareness, and you realize that this awareness has no borders, has no place where it starts and finishes, and so your contemplation brings you to the reality of borderless awareness, meaning non-separation, the non-dual understanding, living understanding. Contemplation of the self goes to the core of the unhappiness in your waking dream. But the problem is not the waking dream, it's the unhappiness in your waking dream.
Right.
When you're contemplating the unhappiness in your waking dream, you are contemplating your true nature, because when you're contemplating the unhappiness, why am I unhappy? And you come to, well, there is resistance. I want things to be different. And then you ask yourself, why do I want things to be different? Because I have these thoughts that when things are different, I will be happier. Then you say, well, wait a minute, what is this I that will be happier? How come I cannot be happy now? What is this happiness that I will be happier when and if? So all these questions somehow connected. They're all connected. And you don't have to contemplate one question, but one leads you to the other, and before you know it, you're looking at the whole structure.
Right.
And then you come to, what is it that is looking? So there are insights in the contemplation, are insights into the self. You can't predict them, or you cannot count them. Sometimes you can't even notice them. Maybe you notice them after the fact, as life changes.
Right. Like for me, it's been, one thing has been not being cynical. Just, I noticed I wasn't cynical anymore.
Yes.
About things, you know. It doesn't matter what it is, President Trump or myself.
Yeah. You know, the insight isn't really what matters. Is the effect of it, the effect of the insight that relaxes and releases and dissolves the tendencies and those habits and those concerns. That's what is really sweet. It's not like, oh wow, yeah, I had this great insight. Who cares? You know? Oh wow, this guy's a great insightful guy, but he's a schmuck, you know.
Coffee shop enlightenment.
Yes, not coffee shop.
You meet and talk about your insights.
Yeah, not the coffee shop enlightenment. Yes, it's an internal shift in your being and in your life. As you say, then you notice there is less cynicism, etc. You will find that your life just gets sweeter, happier, easier. The negative tendencies of the past become like past memories. In time, they become like past memories, and at some point, you don't even remember them.
So we all have our stories, and like I had a very interesting conversation with a friend. She has, like many women that I know, she had a sexual misconduct towards her in her infancy, even in her childhood, and she feels like it's been a lifelong process to feel okay about life and people and stuff like that. Okay, I'm not trying to make much out of this, but that's her story. And then I realized, and my story was just the opposite. It was a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. The boundaries were too good, you know. Once we were 3 or 4 years old, my dad didn't feel comfortable with us in his lap because it was too intimate or something. A different paradigm completely. And then I spent a whole life trying to make up for feeling that there was not enough intimacy rather than that there was too much. So somehow I liked seeing that these samples, it could be one, could be the other, could be any kind of story, but just something like you said, that kernel of separateness, or that embedded in the story, and it doesn't matter what the story is. Somehow that seems important to me.
Yeah.
Because there's the story of being male, there's the story of being female. There's the story of I never was going to amount to anything. Now I have to prove something. There's all kinds of stories.
Right. No. It's more interesting to look at what isn't a story. And of course, we understand stories, and there are all sorts of stories. And I don't mean that to ridicule them or anything like that. There are all sorts of anybody that you talk with that you know, you will find that they have a past and all sorts of memories, and that they feel our traumatisms for them. They feel that they had some angels in their past, and they had some evil in their past. And so yes, it is shared. We all share in different ways that same mind experiences, body-mind experiences. And at some point, we come to what is it that is not that? What is it that is not in that realm? Because that realm, it's okay. I mean, we know it. It's we could write thousands of books about that realm and various situations and various experiments with different results. But the question is, where is it that is beyond all of that? Because in a way, the realm of experiences is at a certain level, and we like, of course, to improve it. But we think that we can improve this realm from within this realm. And so we attempt to different strategies, different philosophies, different organizational structures, different philosophies and views, and we attempt to live them. Some experiments human beings have done for hundreds and hundreds of years. And then they changed, they used to have kings and lords and socialists. So within that realm, we remain in that realm, which is okay. There is no bad or good in it. It is just the manifest realm, like in some parts of this planet, the Earth. Some places there are earthquakes that are devastating. Other places they are at the beach enjoying a martini, simultaneously. Could be some. That's that realm. In this realm, there could be raging fire, destroying people's lives. And others that are fishing, they're just playing golf and simultaneously.
Right.
This is that realm. It's very clear to us that there could be beautiful weather, and at the same time there could be an awful tornado with some people on a boat or some being in the midst of the tornado. So the question is, what is true peace? What is it? What is not like a cork on the top of the water that goes up and down the way. What is it that is not that? That is not a story. That is not at that level. So we have to take our contemplation to its highest, the highest contemplation. So one contemplation is, what's happening in this world? How can I fix it? There is another contemplation is, what is it that requires no fixing? What is it that is unmoved and untouched by world events? These are two contemplations. Contemplation A is, oh my goodness, look at what's happening in the world. What can we do about it? Simultaneously, there is another contemplation, which is, what is it that is unmoved and untouched? What is it that is the blessing? What is it that is the love that dissolves all that, that is beyond all that? So you take a choice of, okay, well, is it possible for me to go to the highest contemplation? So to all of you here that are watching right now, it's a question for all of you, because the mind will present all sorts of situations, all sorts of thoughts. The body will present all sorts of situations, all sorts of feelings. But you can contemplate what is presented to you at different levels. You can contemplate what is presented to you at the level in which it's presented. Or you can take it to the highest level of contemplation. If you take it to the highest level of contemplation, you are contemplating from a higher vantage point.
Right.
It's logical. What I'm saying is logical.
Yeah. And then, like a bird's eye view, and you can make good decisions.
Sure. This is what we do when we want to know which direction we go. We say, okay, we send a scout. We say, go up to the highest, look over, see where it is. And then they come back and they say, it's this direction. We do the same. If we don't do the same in our life, we remain at the level of the mind. So there is an understanding that comes to us through our contemplation, through our meditation, through our readings, through our I don't mean just reading blah blah blah. No,
a lot of stuff, right?
Slash contemplation,
right?
And through satsang and interacting with teachers, interacting with contemplating the teaching, there is an understanding that comes to us. That we have to use this understanding in our life. To take our life to that understanding. To lift it to that understanding.
I just have to tell you this story. Last night, music. I have this group of people that we do music. We're a group of musicians who get together and we play for sometimes 5 or 6 hours in the evening. It just goes on. Sometimes without a stop. Somebody will go get a sandwich or something, but but it doesn't stop. It's a beautiful sharing thing.
It's nice. It's very nice.
Well, so here was what happened last night. That was that kind of brought some of this.
Hold on, Ananda. One moment.
Yeah, sure.
A little bit cold. Yes.
We're the only place that's warm on the country. My mother told me that 90% of the country is in a deep freeze, but on the west coast we have a gentle offshore coming in, and a little bit of rain and a little bit of warm.
Okay, it's beautiful. We envy you.
Anyway, I've been getting to know this one woman who's a musician and who organizes some of these events, and getting closer incrementally. A beautiful, almost like a courtship, but getting close. And then last night at our music event, another friend of mine came in, and she was like and it's never happened before. She was like all over me, sort of, like we're good friends, but she was like, you know, sitting on my lap and dancing sort of provocatively, things like that. And so I thought, oh, what a timing for that, you know, because now it puts a sort of strange thing in the air, you know, where I was getting closer with the one who's, you know, leading, you know, created this music event. This other woman came in and was very, very endearing to me.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then it was like, well, maybe that's the end of that process of getting close. You know what I mean? So
Territory,
I thought,
territoriality.
yeah, exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is. Now I thought, well, you know, so there's no end to looking at the details of it. It's good. I was even thinking maybe these people are more open than I am, and I'm the only one who's uncomfortable, really. You know, maybe it doesn't really affect anything, except for me, because it's an old paradigm. You know, oh, what's she going to think?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, it showed up. It got me in this process of this contemplation. That's like, oh yeah, that's me in the contemplation of wanting things to go in a beautiful way that I was expecting.
Yes, yes. So you're noticing your condition, the conditions you're placing upon your life.
Right.
You are placing the condition that your life has to have in it a relationship with that person who is leading the group.
Mm-hmm.
So this condition limits you, right? Any condition limits you,
Yes.
right? Because it limits your freedom. I mean, it would be lovely for you to have a relationship with her, but it's okay, completely okay if it does not happen, because
That's the key.
your freedom is untouched, you see. So how can you relate with people, with friends, in a way that you can celebrate your freedom, celebrate
Right.
the freedom, our universal freedom, celebrate
Yeah.
freedom of being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you say yes to the freedom. You say yes to what really matters,
Mm-hmm.
not yes to your relationship with X, with this person or that person. You say yes to all of it. You did not plan for this other person, this other friend to come and be show her affection in such a way in front of your other friend. So it
Yeah.
was obviously chosen from beyond you, right?
Right.
Not plan that. So,
Right.
but you can remain as the openness. You remain in a way that there isn't any danger coming from any behavior
Any of it. Yeah.
of this old friend that came in and acted. You can remain completely free. Say, well, of course, if you feel at the moment, hey, please don't do that, you could say, oh, if you don't mind, please don't do that. If you feel it's appropriate and it comes
Right.
from you,
Right.
you say that, because you're not hurting anybody by saying that. You're expressing
Right.
yourself. But
Right.
but it's important that you don't say that so that the other one,
Manipulating everything. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
right. What I'm saying is you can express also yourself. I'm not talking about being like a slug, like a slug, the snail. I'm not
Yeah.
saying being like that. I'm saying to honor your freedom, but of course you can express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But if in your life you're placing this condition, it's an important condition for you that you be with this other person, the one that's leading the group, that your relationship consumes itself and becomes, more and more intimate and so on. You are limiting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Of course, you you are open. to the expressions of love and the sharing of the love and the intimacy. You are open to it.
Right.
But you're not seeking it. If you are seeking it, you are bringing with you in the relationship and in your life this sense of lack that you need to fill. You're bringing it in the relationship. The relationship may happen, but that sense of lack and the sense of need will be still there because it hasn't been released in your inner self. You have not released it. It will act itself out in a different way.
No doubt. Beautiful. This is...
So it's an interesting situation that God presented you to sort of relax about all of this and be in a way that embraces it all.
Yeah, beautiful. One thing that was interesting last night is that it's always a beautiful event when we have our music together, our music nights, but in this particular one, there was so much expressiveness with voices and several instruments, and it was like kind of almost like the exercises in letting go, letting go of limitation in the body through the vocalizing and the
Oh, beautiful.
So that's going on simultaneously with this story that was like, oh my gosh. I wasn't unhappy, and maybe that little bit of tension that's in there is not a bad, is not, you know what I'm saying? A little tension over a funny social situation maybe isn't necessarily a bad thing either, as long as it's not taken.
If the tension that you're experiencing can point to something within you that you are fearing, it can shed some light onto something within you that you are fearing, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, okay. Otherwise you carry that who knows how long if it doesn't get revealed.
Yeah, whatever happens that helps you to see some things about yourself where you are contracted or you're placing conditions in your inner silence, I think it's a good thing.
That's beautiful, because we want it to be wall to wall, all in all, beautiful. So that has to include the pointers showing up.
Right, if it brings some light, but of itself, certain tension, yeah, it is what it is. But if it can shed some internal light, that's even better. Because then you have the tension that you find to be an okay thing, and you also have some things that you're seeing about yourself.
As a music performer, I had a realization a lot of us do at some point, which is when you feel nervous and you're a little nervous to get on the stage or to perform, you just notice this is an energy of excitement. It's actually a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And here I go.
Yeah. I remember I used to go sometimes into meetings, and I started to notice that this thought would arise sort of their own, that, I am meeting with myself. This other person is just a little child like myself. And it sort of disarmed from me this whole image that I had of meeting somebody important, Now I go into meetings with any thought at all. It's like just
I know. As you were talking earlier, I saw that, you said when the deep contemplation is finished, when you no longer need to decide between, am I going to contemplate the world, the situation, or am I going to contemplate the reality, which is untouched, when that's really settled, then all of the then what you're describing,
don't try to
Nope.
understand too much, Ananda. Let it be.
Yeah. I haven't seen oh, good. Just checking if anyone else had put a question, but not yet.
No, nobody can ask questions when you're asking questions.
Yeah, but they can always post it, and then
Right.
we'll know that we have to stop. This is just so great. I feel such a fellowship also with you. It's
yes, with everybody. Yeah, it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. And in a way, like sometimes we're asking questions, and in some way, they're everybody's questions. In some way. Anyways,
I know a lot of times I go back and watch the video again, watch the satsang, and I think, oh, I want to hear that conversation we had because it was very precise to my, you know what I mean? It was the key to unlock something for me. And then it goes on, I go on past this dialogue, and you start talking the next one, and that's where it comes in.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was the big one. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I love the community that we have also.
Very nice. That's very lovely. It is a lovely community.
So I'll mute myself out and see what else happens.
Okay, Ananda.
Thank you so much.
Any questions? Hello, Raul. Okay, Raul, let me read what you wrote, okay? Before you write any more. So you say about the contemplation, I think I understood something. When we first come to life, we learn to be with the attachment of the newly discovered body, and later the mind. Now we unlearn all that by suspecting that we were more than that at any moment. By consequence, we imagine losing something for a long time, and we become sad for that reason. Now we want to learn to live as without that dream sense of my body-mind. Isn't it ironic that the prerequisite for what we are is to never abandon the child condition? You know, Raul, there is nothing that we can hold on to that we are not bound to abandon. In other words, everything that we hold on to at some time or the other has to be abandoned. Because holding on and abandoning, they come together. We hold on to something, but we cannot hold on forever. It has to be abandoned. And it is in the abandon, it's in the relaxing and releasing that there is the peace and the tranquility and the well-being. Of course, we cannot abandon by force. We cannot abandon by doing an effort to abandon. The abandoning has to come in a way naturally. And the biggest abandon is abandoning our identification with a limited body-mind. This identity that we have sort of grown to amass, to build, this identity that we have structured is an unhappy form because it is limited and it is isolated from the wholeness. And although we experience at times the freedom and the joy, that identity, as long as it hasn't dissolved, hasn't been effortlessly abandoned, comes back to rebuilds itself. And with it, we experience the contraction of the emotions, the negative emotion, the isolation, the aloneness, the sense of loss, meaninglessness. So you could say that yes, the journey is a journey of identification, and the abandonment or the release or the dissolution of the identification. But this dissolution comes from our understanding, and our understanding comes from beyond, from the contemplation of the beyond, the contemplation of truth, the contemplation of the infinite, invisible self. It doesn't come from the contemplation of the form of what is perceived. It doesn't come from trying to understand the dream. It comes from the dream referring you back to the source, referring you back to the formless. So the form refers you back to the formless. So you open yourself to this return to the source. It is as you return to the source, the light of the source dissolves all the patterns. Everything becomes transparent and translucent as you return to the source, as you contemplate the source. Like the iceberg that comes closer and closer to the south, to the sun, right away to the sun, it starts to dissolve in the heat of the sun. So the attachment to the body mind, is unnecessary, because why do you want to attach yourself to your car? Your car in 20, 30 years is going to be obsolete. Why do you attach yourself to your house? In 100 years, your house will be dust, will be, who knows? We can remain unattached. And in order to remain unattached, it's helpful for you to recognize that what you truly are is a formless self. How can you attach anything to the emptiness? When you come to your house and you take off your jacket, you attach your jacket to the hook, to the coat hanger. But how can you attach your jacket to no coat hanger? There is no place to attach. So the release of all your body-mind attachment comes naturally as you realize that what you are is the transparency of being, that you are the formless self, that you are the love, the beauty, the freedom of being, not some object. That in this very moment, you are this empty, aware presence, the shining light of being. So contemplate that your true nature and allow your experience to come secondary to your true nature. That your true nature is primary. Your primary your primary love, and actually your only love. Everything else is not separate from that love. Your dream, what arises in your life, is not separate from that love. It's not separate from your true nature. So it's a journey from the self to the self. And in that journey, the sense of personal self and the sense of limitation as a body-mind dies, dissolves. And the universal light of being and the transparency of being is revealed. Yes, good night, Lawrence. So if there are any other questions. Raul, yes, thank you very much. I see it very much, so I think it is right to follow. Okay, Raul. Ananda, so you're right. I love that sense that all the attachments and limitations become transparent in light of the deeper contemplation. Yes.
That you said that to Raul, but it was basically my my issue as well, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember Nisargadatta Maharaj in the book I Am That. I spent a lot of time with that, like many people did, that book. And he talked about, in his way of speaking, he talked about the repeated hammer blows of of truth or something like that, that we've thought for so long along old lines of, they come up kind of habitually, and that so sometimes I'm aware that I just love to hear I love to hear the same thing over and over even, and it's it's almost like music in the sense that it stays fresh and beautiful, and it's like some kind of crust is being chiseled off as I hear. Just sharing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that a life basically completely dedicated to contemplation seems, it's just this vague feeling like it's kind of lopsided or something. It's like, but it amazes me that we even have the opportunity. We have the opportunity to give at least half of my time to contemplation as deeply as I care to, you know.
That
At this point,
given to you.
It's given.
It's offered to you. It's given to you.
Yeah. So even the paradigm of a life, a busy life, and a world situation, is kind of just one way of looking at it. It's really actually it's really actually quite open with the possibility of
a life that is very busy and full of just life stuff, meaning world, body, mind stuff, doesn't provide an opportunity for contemplation, except for very, very few who already have a certain deeper degree of living understanding as the contemplation. So I would be wary of going in the direction and maintaining a direction where life is very, very busy in activities and jobs and relationships and so on, without providing an ample opportunity for the contemplation. Now, there are different phases in your life, meaning there are different phases in your contemplation where initially you do need to give the Dharma, the teaching, the time that it requires from you to ponder, to look, to sit, to go for walks in nature, to contemplate the teaching, and for some of the understanding to start to sprout within you. And then later on in your along the path, you will find that in your life it is still going on. The contemplation is going on in your life, and at some point you will find that all is contemplation, that there is no more your life, it's just all contemplation. But you cannot start or at advanced places, let's say, using that relative term, in your contemplation without traveling the journey that is required.
Interesting.
So I would agree with what you said at a very mature phase in the contemplation, but not along the whole journey.
I see.
And if you find that in your life you have opportunities that is presented to you to contemplate, I would not take it for granted. I would honor it, and I would recognize this opportunity, which is very beautiful, that it's given to you, that's available to you, and not to treat it as the same equal level as your activities in your life. Hold it in a higher esteem than other activities in your life. And I can see from your dedication to coming to satsang, coming to retreat, and the way you have appeared to me now, up to now, that you are honoring the gift that is given to you. And it's a good thing.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that acknowledgement. It's now that I realize that sense of spaciousness is a good thing. It just kind of comes along in time. It's not. I used to be working very hard to not work so that I could spend more time in the contemplation.
Happiness.
Sometimes you work harder at not working than you do to just work. Anyway, thanks so much again.
Oh, Zoe, I just noticed your question, Zoe. Let me see, or your comment. Let me see if I can go to it. Let me see. Oh, okay. I just need to see if I can open it here. So Zoe, you wrote. Let me see if I can. Oh yeah, here it is. So you're right, Zoe. Life does seem to flow more, and contemplation does seem to be becoming more a part of life effortlessly. That's very nice. Very nice. And also more intense energy seems to be flowing through the body and sometimes stuck in the chest. Any comments? don't contract around it, Zoe. So when you feel the energy is flowing more energetically and it's contracting in the chest, expand your chest. The chest is not fixed, yeah? You can just open your chest in all directions. Open it forward, open it to the side, open it towards the rear, and allow this energy, this field, to sort of to expand with your chest, to be free to expand. The main thing is not to contract around the experience. The body is a very beautiful vehicle that has a vastness to it. It has a transparency to it. It has a dancing, energetic field to it. So open your chest, allow the expansion. Not just your chest, whenever you sense this sensation is happening, this experience is happening, turn your attention to any place in your body that is resisting, whether it's like a faint resistance or a certain rigidity, and go to that and invite it to express itself openly. Invite it to open up and bloom like a rose in the sun. So it's a different type of practice. First, mentally, you say yes. You say, oh, okay, wonderful. So you don't take a stand. Mentally, you're open to it. You trust it. You trust the openness. And at the feeling level, you open all the sensations, all the energetics, allow them to expand in the space. It's a space of awareness. The body is an energetic field in the space of awareness. You invite the entire experience, body and chest and whatever is unfolding, you invite it to come to that openness, to come to that vastness. See, Zoe, so you're right. Zoe, oh, thank you. That is so helpful. I love the image of a rose blooming. Yes, yes, yes. So this is a very good phase of the sadhana, where you're finding in your life things are flowing easier, and there is overall peace and happiness. And so whatever arises in your body and also experiences in your life, sometimes there are some events that happen where your body may jerk or contract or tighten. Do the same invitation, meaning invite everything that arises in your body, everything that is arising, to sort of like flow right through you. So you're like sort of an infinite channel, universal. You're in all directions, not just one plane, in all directions. So there is an invitation for whatever is arising to expand in all these directions, like blooming in all directions. It's blooming in all directions, and it's going in without any barriers, expanding in the vastness of being, the vastness of awareness, the vastness of consciousness. So that's at the feeling level. Yeah. And you can do that. You can do those that sort of yoga with any small thing, any bodily sensation that arises for you. Not just with what you are sharing with me. Raoul, you're right. Is it correct to say that the energy that was investing into the world is all the energy of the separateness have to be assimilated again through the correct understanding of our true identity? No. No, Raoul. The energies that was invested into the world, into separateness, does not need to be assimilated again through your understanding. The understanding of your true nature dissolves it all. Dissolves it all. Meaning, the impression of being a person living in time and space with all the concerns and all the history and all the experiences that have happened and all that we have learned to avoid and all what we have suffered, all of that serves to bring us to waking up from the dream. But waking up from the dream doesn't require you to go back to the dream to assimilate all what you dreamt. Waking up from the dream is like mission accomplished. You don't need to reassimilate anything. So time and space are just mind. They are thought. So time is a current thought about some past thought, but there is no past thought. There's only the current thought. Even the past is just memory, which is a current thought. There's no actual past. There's no actual past thought. There's only this current thought. There is a thought, which is current, about a past thought or about a past experience, but it's a current thought. So there isn't a past. And similarly, there is no future, because the thought about tomorrow, there is no actual tomorrow, it's just a current thought. So yesterday and tomorrow being non-existent, how can we speak of today? There isn't even a today, because today only refers to yesterday and tomorrow. So the whole impression of time is thought. And the impression of me is only relevant in time. Me is an impression in time. That I existed and I am existing and I will continue to exist for a few more years. But in fact, there is no reality to yesterday, no reality to tomorrow. And there is no reality to now, because now refers to yesterday and tomorrow. Reality is consciousness. It's awareness, which is a formless self. It's not in the mind, in the realm of the mind. Coming to this understanding, to this living understanding, you do not need to assimilate again the energy of separateness. Okay, I hope I understood your question and I addressed it, Raoul. And if I did not, you can please bring it up again. For now, I thank you all for your lovely company, your friendship, and your love, and for your questions. And this coming, I think this weekend, most likely Sunday, there will be also an online satsang. I will try to schedule it earlier so that people in Europe, if some are interested, they will be able to stay because of the time difference. So I will announce that on my meetup and on my Facebook page. So thank you all, and we'll see you soon. Namaste.
Namaste.